Welcome to your virtual art room. I'm your virtual art teacher, Ms. Pomranke, and today I'm bringing you a project that will help you use up all that junk mail, those catalogs and magazines that you're not using anymore. Instead of throwing them out, we can recycle them into a neat art project. Our project is based on the artwork of Elizabeth Rosen. She makes art by cutting up magazines and other papers and putting them together to make new pictures. I've included a link to her work in the description of this video so you can check it out. We're going to be turning these newspapers and junk mail and magazines into a colorful cityscape today. For this project, you'll need the following supplies: some magazines, catalogs, or other junk mail that's sitting in your mailbox, a piece of white paper, a pair of scissors, something to color with. I'll be using markers and watercolor paint in this video, but you use what you have. You'll also need some glue. I'll be using a glue stick, but you can use what you have in your house. Gather together your magazines and catalogs and newspapers and open them up and start flipping through. Any page with a lot of words or with a really nice big picture will do fine. When you've found a page you like, tear it out. Once you have a collection of papers, now you need to cut them into buildings. There are a couple ways you can do this. If you have a page like this that has a box that's colored, you can cut on the box. I don't really like how this side is wider than the other side, so I'm going to trim it down, trying to keep my scissors about the same distance from the words on the page. That one's good. I can also cut sideways. I can see kind of the outline of a building right here. This one is so colorful, but there's not a lot of guidelines to cut on. There is something on the back that might help me. You want buildings with a variety of different sizes and shapes. Think about the skyline of our city. What shapes are the buildings of our skyline? If I were to put these buildings together as they are, the ones with a lot of words would sort of blend together and it would be hard to tell one building from the next. So before we assemble our cityscape, we're going to take a few minutes and paint or color each of these papers. That will make one building look like a unified whole, especially when it's layered on top of a different building. I've used a combination of markers and watercolor paint to color my buildings. You could use crayons or colored pencils, whatever you have in your house. Leave your wet pieces of paper to dry for a few minutes, and then you can start assembling your city. First, I'm going to envision what I want my skyline to look like. I might not use all of my buildings. I'm doing the tallest buildings in the back first. This is going to be my tallest building. Then I can put this one next to it. You'll notice it kind of curls up a little bit. That's okay, because once we glue it down, it'll be nice and flat. My tallest buildings are going to go here, and the rest of my buildings are going to be shorter. off later. You'll notice I haven't used all of my buildings. Now it's time to start gluing. I'll begin with the buildings that are furthest back. I'm going to clear off all these buildings and keep them roughly in the same order that I have them. My finished work might not end up being exactly like my vision, but it'll be close enough. I'm going to begin with this building that was kind of in the middle, making sure it's straight up and down. I don't want it to look like there was an earthquake and my buildings are falling over. Gray building under that blue building. So I peeled it up just a tiny bit to give me room to slide the gray one underneath. It is going off the page, but remember I said I'd trim that off later. And these don't reach the bottom, but that's okay because they'll be covered by buildings that do. Looks a little boring at first with all of the same colors, but once you start bringing in those bright colors, it really livens it up. Once I have all of my buildings glued on and I'm satisfied with how it looks, I can flip it over to trim off the pieces that overlap the bottom. Notice I can very clearly see where the edge of my paper is, so all I have to do is cut along that edge. Now that I have my paper cut off, I see that there's one piece I didn't glue on all the way, so I'll make sure that gets glued on. Your cityscape is almost complete. Great work. Now you can add a tiny strip at the bottom of a color like green or brown to make it look like the ground. This page is a little too short, so I'm going to cut a second strip. Now I can trim off the extra. Same process as before. I'll flip my cityscape over and use the edge of the paper as a guideline. Here's my finished cityscape. Seems like it's missing something. Maybe it would be cool to add a detail in the sky, like the sun. This already has a circle shape. That'd make a great sun. That's going to be great. I think I'm going to color the inside yellow, but leave the outside those interesting colors. I hope you had fun making art with me today, friends. I can't wait to see what you've done. Don't forget to share your work with me and let me know how you liked this video. I'll see you next week.